everyone, welcome to the channel. I thought today's reading would be about Morgan Robertson. Now, people that don't know about Morgan Robertson, he created a load of books. He wrote a load of books, and he allegedly predicted the Titanic. So the Titanic sank 14 years later after the book came out. I put everything in the description box, So there was some real uncanny similarities to the book that he wrote and to the, and what happens with the Titanic. Very similar names, when it sank, the passenger count, and there was much more connected to the book. Now, I don't know if I can pronounce this. I'm trying to avoid it. So it was first published in 1898, which was called the Futility. I probably said it wrong, guys, right? But then the name changed, and I haven't put the book down to when the name changed. Excuse me. Oh, as the wreck of the so it was revisited on the 19th of the 12th, the wreck of the Tintin. I probably said that wrong as well. So crap at reading. But yeah, the uncanny similarities, what I said, both the boats with the that went on the iceberg, got hit by the iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean. There was also not enough things. He was credited with predictions and clarity, which he denied. Similar names and size was similar too. So I want to look into Morgan Robertson. Now, I have read up about it. There was a connection with a poet called Ella, which again I've put all information in Ella Wheeler. It was. I've put all information in the description box where you can find it, because he did write a letter to Ella as well. But I'll go into that a bit later on. So I'm going to do a spread on him, right? So who was Morgan Freeman? As a personality now. We're going to look into his personality first. With the cards, this is all allegedly entertainment purposes only, okay? I'm just doing this with the cards, which I'm using the steampunk. So who was Morgan Freeman? And I'm going to use the Kipper Oracle if need be. Don't use that very often, so it'd be good. It'd be a good experience hopefully for both of us. So, without me going Right, so who was he? Right, Page of Cups, bit of a dreamer. He really liked to be noticed as well. So I feel like this guy was a bit of a dreamer, but also very very wanted to be liked, wanted to be recognized, and I would say he was a hard worker, so that's what I'm getting from that. Okay. How did Morgan show himself? We will get into the nitty-gritty, but I just want to get a character about Morgan, So how did he show himself? Let's have a look. He showed himself as quite a strong character, although he had that bit of a dreamer, romantic. You think the Page got very romantic. He was, he come across quite a strong strong individual who knows what he wants, okay? He was fun to be around from the experiences. So he was very great conversationist, very communicating, yeah, okay. And the star card said, he was quite positive. So he had a very, so I think that Morgan Robinson was very well liked around, the people he hanged around with, and, he was an all-round nice bloke, So how did Morgan view the world on a conscious level? How did Morgan view the world on a conscious level? Oh, wow. He didn't suffer for, so although he had that dream aspect possibility, right? To me, he was one to live and let live. He was one that every small connection had some meaning to him, and he was always looking for something else in the distance. I know that Robinson's dad was had things to do with the boats, and I know he was brought up about the boats, but you can see the boats in the distance and that. So he said his attitude is the world needs to be explored. That's what even in the conflict of things and the difficulties, he said that you still get the benefits out of the world. Okay, all right. So what gave him the idea to write the book, i.e. I'm reading my notes down loads of drains. So what gave him the idea to write the book? Now I know there is documentations to say that he said it was from his experience, his life experiences, that working on the boats when he was a child with his dad. But let's see what the cards got to say. Well, the cards are saying different. Right, let's move these out the way a minute. The cards are saying different. Look at that. So he was spiritually connected to the realms, unknowingly, maybe. Unknowingly. We got the High Priestess, Knight of Wands. He was oh my God, he was inspired. So I feel, so that answers the questions, doesn't it? I feel he was inspired by spirit, by the unknown. I'm getting dreams. I feel like dreams. I will read you the part of the letter which I have put in the description box of what he wrote to Ella, because Ella Wheeler, she was a spiritualist, and so was her husband. So they wrote a book. But let me just finish off Ace of Cups. I think because Morgan was such an open book, such a dreamer. So we were looking, remember when I said about the dreamer? So I think the creation came from a dream. It was inspired from a dream. And because he had such an openness to it, he was able to tune that into the reality, So I think it's unknowingly he did it, or that because he denies all claims, and I feel it's from a dream. What do you guys think? Do you know the history behind it? What do you think on it? But that's what I'm picking up from the cards, especially with the High Priestess. That's like the realms, look at, beyond the realms, woo, and then we've got the Knight of Wands, which is someone who's very inspired, so the inspiration and inspired. So on the Ace of Cups, yeah, I just feel like it was flowing. So I think once he put that dream down, it was almost like he was not downloading, what's it called? Like, I'm gonna have to think of it. Hang on. I can't find the word. I can't find the word, but it's like he was almost downloading it. He was almost. It was like coming to him very easy, very flowy, right? So once he took on board the dream, the inspiration, I think he was like, it was just like flowing, really flowing. Um, Channeling. There you go. It'll come out sooner or later. So I will tell you a bit about, like, so where is it? A man that wrote. So his belief was, he did believe, right? So as to a mortified of my story, I merely tried to write a good story with no idea of being a prophet. But as other stories of mine and in the work of other and better writers come into discoveries and events have been advocated, I do not doubt that is because all creative workers get into a hybrid telepathic and perceptive condition in which, while apparent awake, they are half asleep. There you go. And which would be, and tap not only the better informed mind of others, but a simulation remnant of unknown facts. Some, as you know, believe that it is the realm that there is no such thing as time, and the fact that a long dream can occur in an instant time gives colour to it and partly explains prophecy. You can have a look at the full fact of it. So he did believe that you could you could download information, but like I feel this me personally, I think he downloaded it from a dream. It was like an idea that inspired, and then the rest of it followed, right? So, okay, right, let's get back to the questions. So, did he unknowingly predict the Titanic? Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. I think it was, it wasn't intentional. I think he was connecting to a higher source. Higher source there. What did he think when the Titanic sank? What was his first reactions to it? I had to change some of the questions because the more I sort of investigated into it, it was the more the answers was like, from other things. But you know me, if you've watched my channel, I like to challenge myself and see where the cards take us, So, sorry. King of Cups. I think he spoke to other people. I think it sort of kind of shocked him too. It was unexpected for him. We got the Hierophant card, 8 of Cups. So we got we've got the King of Cups. So I think he sort of tried to sort of review it into sections, which did come out in the letter he wrote to Ella. So I think he sort of like, he did have conversations about it. So I think he was just as surprised as anybody else. And I think he did go to someone of a spiritual nature. I don't think it would be something of Ella, but I think he spoke to someone like a gentleman that, what happened. And it's almost like, when you get like that of, no, stop this. I'm not dealing with this. So I think it kind of shook him a little bit, where he walked away from it, because we've got the 8 of Cups. And you look, it was like, nah. And look at the time, the way the cards are in the background and stuff. The channeling that he did, it was like, I think it did freak him out. a little bit. I'm getting pleasure out of this, sorry, because I find it fascinating. I mean, I was interested in the Titanic, honestly, guys, where I got a paper here with, what, passengers and crews. Now, an old neighbour of mine where I used to live, he had the original copy of the Titanic paper. So, I mean, I was just a kid then, so we were doing it at school, and I just got really fascinated with it. So I asked him if I could copy it. So I went down the shop, and he said, yes, of course you can. I went down the shop and I copied the paper from that thing, and I've kept it ever since. So look, so it's not the original paper, but yeah, so I've had an interest in it for such a long time. I find it fascinating, and even like watching that was the Daily Mirror, April 1812. So yeah, so I did find it fascinating, and I kept didn't keep the original paper, obviously, but I kept, you let me, fair play to him, he let me copy it. He trusted me enough to give me that old newspaper. I mean, that would have been probably, because I was, 15? No, younger than that. I must have been about 13 and what have you. 12, 13. So what, I'm 50, in my 50s now, coming up 53 this year. Yeah, so I've had a real interest in the Titanic anyway. So this story did fascinate me. I haven't read the book, I gotta be honest, I didn't read the book. So yeah, I think it freaked him out. I think it did freak him out a little bit. And obviously he was, because I do feel like Morgan was like a kind and caring source of person. So he was an open book, I feel. So even though he sort of walked away from the shock of it, I feel like he would have been someone who would whoever was people that were affected, he would support immensely, to help them get, help them over the upset, of it. Did he believe in the predictions? I think it did take of effect. I mean, because I've wrote down different questions, but I think it's all kind of answering himself. So there's no point in me going over it again when it's already sort of showing in the cards, So what do you think? Do you think, it was a bit of a shock to him? Right. What did he think when others called him clairvoyant? Now, I know he sort of he kiboshed it, which with relevance, but let's see what the cards have got to say here. What did he think with the clairvoyant? Now, I did ask, put down, did he believe in that sort of thing? I think he did. Oh, I think he did believe in all that sort of thing, because he wouldn't have wrote the letter like he did with Ella, very respectfully. So yes, I think he does believe in this kind of thing. But what did he think of others calling him clairvoyant? Right? Did he find it amusing? Did he I don't think he was happy with that. I don't think he was very happy with that claim. Five of Cups. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that interrogation and that. It kind of put him in a depressing mode. I don't think he wanted that. He wanted that intention, which I can't hardly blame him, to be fair. So although he was a bit of a dreamer in that, but he didn't he wanted to be admired, but not through that, not through those aspects. This card comes more than these two cards. When I'm looking at her, and this is a feminine energy, but when I'm looking at her, it's like, really? No. I think also it affected certain relationships around him. It was a bit of a pressure. So yeah, there was that's how I feel. What do you think? I keep asking out, so yes, I do believe he thought. Why did Spirit encourage him to write this down? Why did Spirit encourage him to write this down? Okay. Well, the Chariot card is like, maybe it was a part of his story. I don't feel Spirit had anything involved in it. I think this was to do, it was, call me like weird, but I don't feel Spirit had anything to do with it. I don't think they gave him that inspiration. I think he tapped in. I think he tapped into something that generally, it happened. Sometimes these things do happen, doesn't it? So I don't feel he tapped into this himself. He had control of the reins. I don't feel like he had control of the reins. I don't feel Spirit was involved in that at all. I think he connected to a higher power. A higher, so he was like downloading. So it wasn't like Spirit was giving him the message. He was connecting up. That's my belief. I mean, there's no other claims of books that he's wrote that predicted it. So it was just like he tapped into something. Yes, he had a knowledge. I know he had a knowledge of like the boats and stuff like that. So he kind of knew how things went. But I think he tapped into a higher power. Like, what's it? The records, the records. That's what I believe. That's what I believe in what it's saying, because I feel like the Chariot he was in the driver's seat. He was in the driver's seat. Spirit wasn't. We had nothing to do with it. He tapped into something more. He connected to the book, what do you call it? Test records. Wow, this is just so interesting. I hope you're enjoying this, because I am. Okay, right. Interesting. Right, so let me have a look. I put questions in to sort of say, about the background knowledge. I think he had the knowledge, but which probably helped write the book itself, because he had the knowledge. But yeah, I do. Yeah. I think he connected to the higher power. So there was something in the dream that started it, and then that's the channeling started afterwards. So what can we take from this inspiration, this prediction, on how stuff works? What can we take from this? And this is the last reading. 10 of Wands, the Devil. What the hell? What the hell? Well, that's not a bloody good reading. That we don't always know what we're getting ourselves into. Maybe. That's quite discouraging. Maybe it's about being open, not be so closed up with the view on things, allowing obsession to thing. It's more about like relaxing into it. So for, you know, our lifestyles and stuff. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've, you know, my dreams have come true. I have tapped into certain dreams and that. And I think I'm going to be doing more on that on this channel. I'm going to be like pulling out if dreams that don't feel so personal, you know, because it's working out. But the 10 of Wands is usually something like a burden, like this is a burden. The Devil card is not a good card to have. This is about like control, you know, it just feels like controlled. The 7 of Swords is like deception. Someone's being deceptive, you know. So to me, it's like maybe loosening up. Loosening up. Yeah, look, see, loosening up. Not to try and be so in controlling of things. I think when we sort of like go through life and we're having life experiences and we're trying to sort of I don't know about you, but like, I mean, I've said it in podcasts and stuff, but I've like, when I first started out doing spirituality, it was like I was just questioning everything, and then I was like, am I doing this right? Am I doing, you know, when it's about opening your heart into, it's just about opening your heart, not reading too much into it, you know. And the Hermit card is sort of suggesting it's like you'll get that guidance within. You don't have to go searching for it. It comes to you naturally. And I think that's how I'm viewing it, right? Okay. Yeah, so again, that inspiration that inspired the message, because pages can become a messenger. So once you've expanded and sort of open up to the realms of possibilities in life, the message starts to come more clearer. The open of the curtain is like, boo. Yeah. And that is where those inspirations stuff comes in, and you're gonna feel more connected. So if you're like a person who's saying, I don't get no signs, I don't get no signals. Now, I'm not criticizing because we all do it, but it's kind of trying to relax a little bit more and having and getting out of our headspace a little bit and more into an inspired way. You know, when you're like doing journaling, right? I don't know about, well, if people that does journaling, they'll know what I'm saying. You'll start writing stuff about your day or how something's affected you, and then all of a sudden all this stuff starts flowing out. It starts naturally like flowing, right? So it's being, you know, so it's kind of allowing things to take shape rather than trying to control it. The King of Wands, he's a person that is an investigator. Once you get that information, go with it. I tell you what, guys, this has been like a bit of a journey for me since doing the Amy one, and I was like, I'm doing the back behind the scenes with, watching stuff and about Morgan, and then I've met Ella, right, Ella Wheeler, which I'm thinking doing a spread on her. I found her poetry really interesting, and I'm writing poetry, which I will share. I will share at some point when I completed it, So I'm sharing it with close people at the moment, but yeah. So it's inspired me to do something. So it's almost like there's a stepping stones from each reading that I'm doing that I'm finding an interest in, and I'm hoping you're finding doing this, feeling the same, is tapping into something inside of me. I'm not. I mean, I'm dyslexic. I can't even say words half the time, So, but here I am. Last week, I was writing poetry, and it's thanks to this reading and thanks to Ella that's sort of kind of helped me. So it's really weird. And, I had a dream, and that sort of tapped into other aspects when I was doing my investigation with these two, with this spread alone, right? So it was almost like, I suppose you could say go down the rabbit hole, but it wasn't a rabbit hole. It was more of a fascination. It's like, oh wow, I didn't know this and I didn't know that, and oh my god, I love that, which I will share the next time. Anyway, I'm going to stop rabbiting because I bet you're going, shut up, Care. Going on and on and on. But I hope you enjoyed the reading. I'm loving this. I think I'm like, at the moment, I'm throwing things out at the minute with my YouTube channel to see not necessarily what sticks, but what inspires me, and hopefully it will inspire you too. The reasons I want to go back in time is so maybe we can learn from their experiences and put something into our lifestyle, So let me know in the comments what you think, and also what is your take on the reading? What did you get from it? Did it inspire you anyway in your lifestyle? Let me know. But as if you've all lasted this long with my rabbiting. But thank you for joining, and I'm sending much love, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.